Every town has a best view. Around here, it's from the water. You can see the lighthouse, the docks, the boats, and everything that's been built so far. But if you look a little further down the shoreline, you'll notice there's still one empty stretch. I think it's about time we fix that. So I am back again on the Roundtable Hold, which, if you don't know, that is Dai's server that he runs, and it's going to be a forever SMP. I'm actually near the capital right now, and the point of this house and this location is kind of to separate my area from the capital just a tad bit more. And I have found this reference image that is a beach house in Cabo Polonio, which is an off-grid coastal hamlet in eastern Uruguay. Essentially, they don't have any electricity, and I believe they don't have running water, so every house and separate structure is self-sufficient. So for part of that, I wanted to make this also self-sufficient. And as you'll see, as I continue to build this, I added in a water tank at the side to kind of drive that point home. Because we kind of have a fundamental lack of washed brown wood in Minecraft, I'm going with the strip spruce instead and adding in some mangrove to make it look a tiny bit more rundown. I do think this house kind of stands out a little bit more compared to all of the other houses that I've built in this area, but I think it'll turn out really, really well with some more trees in the area and a little bit of terraforming like I did earlier. I think blocking this area off with a forest would actually be really nice. Our main central town is supposed to be Wild West themed, and you can kind of see that in the background. Beans built some custom trees in the background. So they're kind of spruce-esque trees. I'm not entirely sure what trees they're supposed to be. I was going to block off my area with similar looking trees, so I have a Norway spruce, silver fir, and I think a Douglas fir coming up. And it really rounds out the area very, very well, if you were to ask me. I think this brown house both fits with the theme of my area while being slightly different from what I've previously built, as well as separating this off. But it looks like we have a visitor. I turned around for like 2 minutes, and you've already made yourself at home.
I'm just appreciating the architecture.
You're looking through my storage.
Yeah, storage is a part of the architecture.
Aqua has this really interesting way of exploring places.
Thoroughly.
He looks inside absolutely everything.
Well, you never know.
Know what?
Exactly.
Have you found anything interesting yet?
Carrots.
Those are my carrots.
I'm just appreciating them.
You seem to appreciate things by putting them in your inventory.
Yeah, well, it gives me a closer look.
So now that the broader structure of this house is done, let's work on the interior a bit. It is definitely one of the more difficult interiors that I've done because the space is very, very tight. I think I had originally built this with the plan of being an enchanting setup, but after I built it, it doesn't really fit with the vibe, and I think the enchanting setup might turn into something else. Maybe a boat out in the water in the future, so I'm kind of forced to travel out a bit and have my items spread through this world and this town specifically. So instead, I have this brewing setup going off to the side with some trinkets lying around, and I decided to put a crafting table in the floor just for convenience, and I didn't have space anywhere else. It is a very, very tight floor plan, so I'm taking use of the scaffolding as the ladders because I think they make really nice ladders or ways to get up when built into a building. I know maybe not everyone uses scaffolding the most, but I think it makes a good permanent building block as opposed to something you temporarily use while building. I definitely need to finish off this area a tiny bit more. So I'm terraforming quite a bit and replacing all of these with sand and some gravel. And I think I need to blend out the area a little bit better because some of this looks a little bit harsh. I've been using sandstone slabs everywhere else to give a more gradual slope. Due to my very long time playing on the Flow SMP, I got quite used to terrain slabs being just a part of Minecraft, but it seems like I have to add them in on my own now. I'm gonna put some lobster traps to the side again because I think this helps bring this house a little bit more into the area and fit with the purpose of this area. I think that about does it for the exterior. I added in some dead coral and a little bit more glow lichen and rooted hanging dirt and some pale hanging moss just because it rounds out the area a bit more, makes it look a bit overgrown and not too clean. And I think helps drive home the fact that this is supposed to be super weathered and kind of one with nature, like an off grid house would be. Looks like we have another visitor, though. So I think that means it's time to finish off the exterior because I am sick of people looking at it like this. I knew this corner of the harbor was missing something. Every time I come through here, my eyes would always drift over to this little patch of dirt. It wasn't bad, but it feels unfinished. Oh, good morning. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what belongs here. No, I'm not building another house. We've got enough houses. I don't think we need 2 warehouses either. All right then, what would you build? A lighthouse? Really? Isn't it a little small for a lighthouse? You know, every town needs someone who's convinced they know better than everyone else. This lighthouse was actually designed by both Z and I. I think we did this between videos and in the creative fork of the server. And I want to say it turned out really, really well. It's a little bit hard to build a round shape in Minecraft, and I think originally I was planning on making this almost pyramidal with 4 sides and slightly slanting inwards, but going for the round look definitely fits with the area a bit more. Because this area is supposed to be almost a Bar Harbor or rickety Main town inspired, I think the white color palette and a little bit of wear makes the lighthouse blend both into the capital as well as into my town. This is definitely further into the capital than any of my other builds, and it's pretty far away from my actual house. But because of how far away it is, I think it serves as a good point where you can view it both from the town and from the boats, as well as from the capital. And quite a few people have stopped by and taken a look at this while I was building. I think it's time to clear up this surrounding area though, because this edge has been bothering me for quite a bit. As much as I really like the surrounding forest, I both like the size of the trees and how the forest nearby provides shade. I don't think it blends very well into my area because this area is supposed to be Maine inspired. So I took some liberty of looking at the agriculture of Maine and seeing what trees naturally grow there. And I found 3 different types of trees, as I mentioned, Norway spruce, silver fir, and Douglas firs. And these are all built and designed by Malcazar. I've been using his trees for a very, very long time now. And I think he's just such a talented builder, so I'm always happy to use these trees in my build. I did want the surrounding forest floor to look a little bit better and a bit more natural and lush, because I think the one thing that really kills a Minecraft forest is putting in a bunch of custom trees and then having plain grass blocks showing everywhere. And I've definitely learned this a little bit more from Beans and Apples as well as Milan, where the forest floor is supposed to be filled with grass and firefly bushes and dead bushes, so I worked up a color palette of what to do in that area. But let's get a tree in. I think this about finishes up the bottom of the area a little bit better, and I think adding some bushes as well as some framing dead bushes around these will look really, really nice, especially in the night. I've also buried some weathered copper bulbs into the ground to light up the area a little bit more and to prevent a ton of mobs from spawning. I'm very happy with this finished result. I have one empty spot remaining in the forefront of this town, and I think we have a guest coming to help us finish this next video.